to die.
Yeah, we were talking about Shulk being that sort of secret top 10 character. A lot of people were regarding Link as being well improved in this game as well, and I don't think anyone's disputing the fact that it's improved. I think it's more just the same sort of deal that maybe Shulk suffers from, in that it's the same sort of high skill ceiling, the same sort of like five head sort of plays that are going to be involved with that. But we're not. We can talk about Link when one comes up on screen. For now, it's time to go to Toon World, and it's going to be Puff trying to crash the party.
All right, now I feel like a lot of the matter of control for this bout is going to be behind Hungrybox. Like, Hungrybox is going to have to be the initiator for a lot of these interactions, going to be forcing a lot of the ledge play, and in general, I feel like offstage play is going to be where Hungrybox is going to really be able to shine. Because even though Toon Link has like a little bit of variety in how he can return to the stage, like getting edge-guarded by Puff is just annoying, especially with such minute control from someone like Hungrybox, who has such a well-practiced Puff. I feel like Hung is going to want to just try to stay to the stage as best as possible, or just suffer with damage, and that's right what we're seeing. From ledge to ledge, not giving up. Hungrybox still trying to get this first hit.
Yeah, it is. It is coming just a little bit slower, and of course, Ong is there to finish it up, and that's what happens. You just play patient, absorb the hits that you have to. Eventually, the opportunity will come for that up B. Ong is going to find their mark and take the first stock in this best-of-3 clip. Oh, but Hungrybox answering right back, reading the placement with the F smash.
You have to stay very fluid as a projectile-oriented character if you want to control small battlefield, because there's a lot of opportunity for opponents to be able to just swing. Like, you don't really have a lot of comfortable landing space with this kind of a stage. So if you're someone who's going to more effectively shark landings, you're going to have a fun time here. And we've seen right out the gate that that's how Hungrybox wants to play this out. Plenty of nair, plenty of forward air, just try to punish out this aerial play. And even though Toon Link does have the aerials to be able to, box it out in the sky as need be, if he's already committing with the boomerang and pulling a bomb in hand, like, that's just sort of the grave that he's buried. I think playing reaction aerial is much stronger here, because then you get opportunities like that. Giving Puff the opportunity to just fly into the up air is exactly what Ong's going to want, because we see how well Hungrybox is moving around in the sky. You might as well litter the sky with something that's a quick reaction and dangerous.
Yeah, and flying right into that up air. How long does that thing stay out? That is ridiculous. And Hungrybox right now just getting battered around like a beach ball, a big fluffy beach ball, and it's gonna try to get some follow-up on the dares. However, it's gonna be Ong going high to where Hungrybox can't really capitalize on it. Ong now trying to control the stage. Of course, Hungrybox is going to try to take advantage of that airspeed that Puff provides. And it's a tough ask, especially when Ong is getting so projectile happy. You're basically turning this into a bullet hell for the Ace of Team Liquid.
Oh, but Ong's going to be finding his way back. In spite of Hungrybox's efforts to edgeguard, a swift back air is going to clean it up, although bleeding pretty heavily. I feel like one forward air is going to clean this up, potentially even a forward tilt towards the ledge, but Ong is swinging heavy here and could potentially pay the price for it. Instead, pivot, grab, throw to the back, and that's what we got for game one.
Yeah, and Ong never seeming to be completely out of the question in that one, and yeah, a little easier to grab the Puff than it was the Pig, but that is going to be no matter for Ong. They are going to go up 1-0 against Hungrybox as we take a look at that on the replay. And from the very beginning, Ong just having a devil of a time trying to chase down Hungrybox, but when they were able to, it was not without reward.
Just in general, like, Hungrybox showed really early on that he was super comfortable with moving across the plats and moving in the air. That gave Toon Link all of the leeway necessary to just start to put projectiles in the right spot, and then most importantly, put Toon Link himself in the right spot. Because every time we saw Ong confirm a kill, it was off of some wayward movement from Hungrybox, a poor choice in landing, or just whiffing just barely an aerial.
Yeah, and we're going to take one more look at the... never mind. Okay, we're not going to go to the last stock. But yeah, that was the getting grabbed at the ledge and into that back throw Yeah, as we're going to take a look at that right here, I get the feeling a part of this was just, Ong realized where they needed to be and the most efficient way to get that kill, and Hungrybox getting stuck in end frames of that animation, prime spot to get tethered and grabbed and thrown off. It's a tough way to lose that one if you're Hungrybox, and it's a mistake that they're smart enough to recognize and maybe not make again, but at the same time, I guess that kind of eats at you a little bit.
I'm not too sure. I feel like there's a lot of interactions that can occur in this particular matchup. It's just a matter of like how swiftly both players show their hands. And the stage switch to Stadium 2, I think, is going to give us a different showing of skill here, because now I feel like the onus is on Hung to more heavily zone, just to keep Hungrybox at bay if he does manage to break through. Because this is a stage that very heavily favors Puff's style of edge guarding.
Now, very true, and it's more than just the Pokemon home field advantage. It's that oh my gosh, man, this is Puff and Toon Link kind of evened up right now. We're trying to read that get up at the oh yeah, Hungrybox carrying on.
He's wild for it.
I love it. I actually love it. You know what? Make them try to outthink themselves. Why not? Hungrybox now going to get caught by the down air. Ong saying, yeah, good luck teching this one, buddy. And that's how they're going to take stock number one. Tethers back to the ledge, and Hungrybox now is going to take to the skies, try to catch Ong, but yeah, easier said than done when you have something like Toon Link's up in there. Ooh. Nicely chased down, however, by Hungrybox.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was getting at with how like effective Puff's movement is for being able to control a lot of the space where characters will typically escape to. For Stadium, if you're making a higher lateral recovery, even if it's from out deep, like Puff has it covered.
Yeah, not a whole lot of places for Ong to run and hide, which makes controlling the space on the stage so much more important. Trying to control the negative space while in neutral. And now Ong getting that hit on the up air. Might have been trying to confirm, but maybe having second thoughts about what Hungrybox's movement options were going to be. And that's the other thing that Puff does present you, is always you have to keep that in doubt. You never know when you're going to get sidestepped and then immediately side beat and just sent flying backwards. So now Ong is going to have to confirm this kill on Puff, who's sitting at 154%. Decent survivability, but there's no surviving that.
I'll be honest with you, Stu. I was expecting Ong to play a bit more passively, but the fact that Ong is so willing to like stay in Hungrybox's face, I think it's working out especially well because Hungrybox is so insistent on playing at the flats. Like, time and time again through Game 1, and we're seeing it develop here in Game 2 as well. Hungrybox is starting to shark with his aerials, and he finds his landing on the platforms. Typically speaking, this isn't a bad move. This is rather smart because it means he's going to be able to minimize the amount of time that he's lingering around after whiffing, and he gets himself right back into the skies to cover them. Unfortunately, this is against a character who's also comfortable with covering the skies, and Ong has caught on to this pattern and has reacted to it on multiple occasions, not just to build up damage, but to confirm stocks.
Going to be a nice aerial to cover again, and yeah, that's Hungrybox realizing if you have your prey on the ropes, you got to go in for the kill. You got to keep swinging, and yeah, that's exactly what Hungrybox is going to thrive upon, is getting their opposition off the stage. Ong realizing this and just needing to get out of free fall, just get out of the mercy of this Puff. And certainly that low percentage, you are at rest percent if Hungrybox so chooses to go for it. And it's online, but certainly bomb into up air. It's never not time for that if you're Ong. And it is with that he unceremoniously tosses Hungrybox out of this tournament by a score of 2-0. Take that and rewind it back. Hangman, take us through it.
I loved every bit of it, man. Just the confirms into the hits, the call-outs on the aerial play. Like, Hungrybox just looked way too confident about the aerial space of these games being his, where he really didn't fight for it. And even though he was able to maneuver himself very well, It had a very clear indication of like where to press his buttons, when to press his buttons. Like he wasn't fighting an opponent that was convinced that the airspace wasn't safe. And you can't really do that against Toon Link because this is a character that can fight for that airspace. And like we saw it so often between nair, back air, the plethora of bombs and boomerangs aplenty, and of course on being able to threaten space with spin attack, and of course that up air that we just saw. There was tons of times where Hungrybox was just moving into unsafe territory as if there was not a care in the world. But getting blown out a straight 2-0 will at least make you think twice about that matchup going into it next.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. It doesn't feel fair to call it a blowout because Hungrybox was competitive in each and every one of those games. It's a tough way to go out if you are a HBox, but certainly, that's a victory to hang your hat on. And certainly the Puff's hat, if that's the sort of trophy that you want to take from that one. And that's it's HBox still being the ambassador to the community that we need. So hats off to them, no matter what. And yeah, moving on to losers semifinals, and I think the winner of their opponent is yet to be determined. Right now, we are sitting at Stan Luna and Forza Don at 1-0. So as we wait on that, on those results, I'm going to ask Chris